shadows and security, unmasking the symbiotic relationship between secret societies, ritualism, and the genesis of American life insurance. Introduction: The Unseen Architecture of Assurance in 19th Century America. The 19th century in America was a period of profound transformation, marked by territorial expansion, industrial innovation, and burgeoning cities. Yet, beneath this veneer of progress lay the stark and ever-present specter of mortality. Life was precarious. Disease epidemics swept through communities, industrial and agricultural accidents were commonplace, and the devastating human cost of the Civil War cast a long shadow over countless families. For women and children, the death of a husband and father, often the sole breadwinner, was not just an emotional tragedy, but a swift descent into financial destitution. In this environment of pervasive risk, formal mechanisms for financial protection were scarce and largely inaccessible to the average American. Private life insurance, as it existed, was typically a product for the wealthy, its premiums beyond the reach of the working and middle classes. Furthermore, a deep-seated societal stigma was often attached to accepting charity, which was widely viewed as a sign of personal failure or a lack of industriousness. This confluence of high mortality, limited financial safety nets, and social aversion to dependency created a significant societal vacuum, a need for a system of mutual protection that could offer security without shame. It was into this breach that fraternal organizations stepped, flourishing across the American landscape. These societies, diverse in their specific focus but united by principles of brotherhood and mutual assistance, offered more than just companionship and moral instruction. They became vital crucibles for the development of accessible life insurance. This report will meticulously dissect how the ostensibly secret and occulted practices, the rituals, initiations, symbolism, and esoteric allure of 19th and early 20th century American fraternal societies were not mere curiosities. Instead, these elements were integral, functional components that directly underpin the development, marketing, and financial viability of their pioneering life insurance programs. In doing so, they effectively shaped the early landscape of financial security for a vast segment of the American populace. The term occulted, as employed throughout this analysis, refers specifically to the hidden, secret, esoteric, and symbolic dimensions inherent in the rituals and knowledge systems of these fraternal orders. It is a descriptor of their internal practices and the mystique they cultivated, rather than an assertion of supernatural occultism dictating the operations of the broader insurance industry. The focus remains steadfastly on documented historical practices and their tangible impact on the provision of life insurance. The very structure of fraternal insurance emerged as a direct response to the failures of the existing financial market and the prevailing social norms that made dependency a source of shame. The communal and secret nature of these societies was instrumental in overcoming this stigma, transforming financial aid into an earned benefit, a right among brothers who had proven their character and commitment. To better understand the unique position occupied by fraternal life insurance, the following table contextualizes its emergence within the broader landscape of early financial protection. Table 1, Contextualizing Early Life Insurance. Pipe era. Pipe dominant insurance providers. Pipe accessibility to general public. Pipe prevailing social attitudes towards death. Charity. Pipe role of secret or fraternal elements. Pipe pipe dash 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 pipe. Pipe pre-1868. Pipe informal mutual aid. Family, community, nascent commercial ventures. Pipe very low. Pipe death common. Charity often stigmatized. Pipe limited, mostly informal community solidarity. Some early burial societies with rudimentary rituals. Pipe 1868 to 1900. Pipe fraternal benefit societies, expanding commercial companies. Pipe moderate, fraternal, low, commercial. Pipe continued high mortality. Fraternal benefits seen as earned right, not charity. Pipe central, secrecy, ritual, and lodge system were core to fraternal insurance appeal, recruitment, and member obligation. Pipe early 20th century. Pipe fraternal benefit societies, peak then decline, growing commercial and group insurance. Pipe increasing. Pipe gradual shift. Rise of welfare concepts. Though stigma of dependency persisted. Pipe still significant in fraternals, but commercial insurance grew without these overt elements. Regulation began to standardize practices. Pipe 2. The bedrock of brotherhood, fraternity, mutual aid, and the genesis of organized protection. The concept of individuals banding together for mutual support in times of distress is as ancient as human society itself. The lineage of such collective security can be traced from the burial societies of Greek and Roman artisans, which provided for funeral expenses and supported the families of deceased members, through the guilds of medieval Europe that extended mutual assistance to cover illness and other hardships. These early forms evolved into the friendly societies, common throughout Europe in the 18th and 19th centuries, which attempted to quantify risks and member contributions. At the heart of these diverse historical expressions lay a fundamental principle, the idea that every individual is, in a sense, their brother's keeper, bearing a reciprocal responsibility to aid others within their community. This spirit of mutual aid also found fertile ground in America, where such societies became crucial support systems, particularly for marginalized communities navigating social and economic barriers. A pivotal moment in the formalization of this ethos into a structured insurance mechanism occurred in 1868 with the founding of the Ancient Order of United Workmen (AO) by John Jordan Upchurch in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Upchurch, a railroad master mechanic and a Freemason, initially conceived of the AO as a conservative union, but it rapidly shifted its focus to its innovative life insurance program. The AO is widely recognized as the first major national life insurance order and the first American lodge to explicitly organize as a fraternal life insurance society. Its groundbreaking innovation was the creation of a death benefit, typically ranging from $500 to $2,000 in its early days, funded by assessments levied on its members. This benefit was specifically designed to provide financial protection for the dependents of deceased members, a direct response to the inadequacy and expense of existing commercial insurance options, and a widespread desire for affordable security. The success of the AO model was immediate and profound, leading to the rapid organization of similar lodges across cities and states and heralding what many historians term the golden age of fraternalism. The philosophy underpinning this new form of insurance was far removed from a purely commercial transaction. Fraternalism emphasized not only financial protection, but also the cultivation of moral character, the fostering of community through the lodge system, the practice of democratic principles in governance, and the enjoyment of social fellowship. The lodge system was not merely an administrative convenience. It was the vibrant heart of the fraternal experience, the locus for ritualistic practice, social interaction, and the mutual oversight that ensured the system's integrity. Thus, fraternal life insurance was more than a product. It was the tangible application of a deeply held social and moral ideology, where the provision of insurance was a direct outcome of the commitment to fraternity. The rapid expansion and widespread adoption of the fraternal insurance model were significantly facilitated by the pre-existing framework of Freemasonry. John Upchurch, the visionary behind the AO, was himself a Mason, and many founders of subsequent fraternal benefit societies shared this affiliation. These new orders frequently patterned their organizational structures, the local lodges, systems of degrees, secret rituals, grips, and passwords, after Masonic models. In essence, Freemasonry provided not just ideological inspiration but a replicable organizational template, a form of social technology that could be readily adapted to the new purpose of providing widespread, affordable life insurance. This Masonic blueprint was instrumental in the swift proliferation of the fraternal insurance movement across America. 3. Veiled in mystery, bound by oaths, the functional power of ritual, secrecy, and occulted symbolism. The allure of secret societies has long captivated the human imagination, and the fraternal orders of 19th and early 20th century America were masters of this mystique. Their secrecy, elaborate rituals, and occulted, hidden or esoteric symbolism were not mere theatrical embellishments. They served multifaceted, pragmatic functions crucial to the success of their insurance operations. These elements worked in concert to foster a strong sense of cohesion and exclusivity, making membership a coveted status. The very act of guarding secrets created a powerful group identity, binding members together in a shared, privileged experience. Central to the fraternal experience were rituals, which often served as vehicles for moral instruction and the reinforcement of core values. Many societies drew upon biblical allegories or heroic historical narratives to impart lessons of fraternity, self-reliance, thrift, loyalty, and fidelity to home and country, virtues directly pertinent to the responsibilities of an insured member who was expected to be a reliable contributor to the mutual benefit system. For instance, the Independent Order of St. Luke, an all-black society, declared all initiates members of the same family pledged to stand by one another at all hazards. Their initiation featured a symbolic journey to Jerusalem, with the candidate wearing a torn white robe to foster humility and learn self-reliance. The ritual emphasized that what members lack by the sacred ties of blood we make up by a solemn oath-bound obligation. Similarly, the Ladies of the Maccabees, an all-female society, drew inspiration from the Old Testament Maccabees, portraying themselves as marching forward for the defense of our loved ones and the protection of our homes. Their rituals promoted self-reliance, thrift, and patriotism, reinforcing the protective ethos that underpinned their health and death benefits. Beyond moral edification, initiation trials and ongoing lodge activities forged strong emotional bonds among members. The shared experience of navigating secret rites, even those incorporating elements of humor, theatricality, or mild fear, created a powerful sense of camaraderie. In an era predating widespread access to mass media like radio and television, the lodge room itself, with its plays, rituals, and social gatherings, was a primary source of entertainment and fellowship for many men. This social dimension was critical in attracting and, more importantly, retaining members. The occulted elements, the symbolic journeys, macabre pageantry, and promises of esoteric knowledge, were particularly potent. The woodmen of the world and the modern woodmen of America became renowned for their mastery of spectacle, effectively glamorizing the otherwise somber subject of life insurance. Their public displays often included axe-twirling pageantry, appealing to a sense of rugged pioneering spirit. Perhaps their most distinctive innovation was the provision of unique tombstones, often carved to resemble tree stumps, marked with the society's emblem and the motto Dum Tacet Clamet, though silent, he speaks. Each log depicted on the stump could symbolize one of the deceased's children, offering a powerful, tangible, and enduring testament to the order's fulfilled promise of protection. This was a brilliant stroke of pre-modern branding and a constant, visible reminder of the order's value. Internally, woodman rituals, like those of many fraternal orders, often forced recruits to confront their own mortality, sometimes through macabre obstacle courses ending with the initiate facing a human skeleton lit by candles. This stark reminder of death directly reinforced the practical need for life insurance. However, the woodman, particularly the modern woodman, took such rights to new levels by incorporating elements of slapstick and elaborate pranks. Recruits might be challenged to put their hands in what appeared to be molten lead but was fake, subjected to spanking machines, or made to sit on collapsing chairs. The most infamous of these was riding the goat, which could involve a mechanical contraption designed to buck, spin, or even unexpectedly flip riders upside down while firing blanks. These seemingly bizarre and even juvenile practices served critical functions. As one curator explained, such gimmicks were necessary to get people to join. The shared laughter and the experience of having ridden the goat created an instant bond and solidified one's place within the clique. New members would then bring their friends to witness and undergo the same pranks, thus directly helping to build their insurance company. The allure of progressing through various degrees within the society, each promising access to further mystical, esoteric knowledge, also ensured that men would remain engaged and continue making their insurance payments, often for decades. These elaborate rituals, therefore, were not merely decorative. They functioned as sophisticated socio-financial mechanisms, simultaneously addressing the social, psychological, moral, and financial needs and objectives of both the members and the organization. The secret society aspect, with its carefully guarded knowledge and dramatic revelations, was a core part of the value proposition that successfully marketed life insurance to a mass audience. Indeed, these fraternal orders intuitively employed what modern marketers would recognize as experiential marketing and symbolic branding. The occulted elements, the pageantry, the unique symbols like the woodman tombstones, the confrontational yet sometimes humorous initiation rites, formed a distinctive brand identity. This identity differentiated them from the more staid and often inaccessible commercial insurers of the day, making the concept of life insurance more palatable, engaging, and even exciting. IV. The fraternal insurance business, how brotherhood, secrecy, and ritual forged financial security. The remarkable success of fraternal life insurance in 19th and early 20th century America was deeply intertwined with the unique experience offered by the lodge. The combination of tangible benefits, social camaraderie, opportunities for networking, moral education through ritual, and a regular source of entertainment, created a powerful draw. Crucially, the allure of secret knowledge, the sense of belonging to an exclusive group, and the shared experiences of initiation fostered a strong commitment among members, encouraging them to maintain their memberships and, by extension, their regular premium payments. The anticipation of witnessing new members undergo the often humorous or startling initiation rites, such as riding the goat, also served as an effective retention mechanism for existing members, ensuring a lively and engaged lodge environment that continually attracted new prospects. The financial model underpinning most early fraternal insurers was assessmentism. Unlike commercial legal reserve companies that collected higher premiums in advance to build substantial financial reserves, fraternal societies typically levied assessments on their members as needed to pay death benefits when they occurred. This approach initially allowed for lower costs to members, a significant advantage in attracting a broad base. However, the viability of this model depended heavily on a steady influx of new, younger members and the consistent payment of assessments by the existing membership. To safeguard their mutual funds, fraternal orders employed several informal but effective risk management strategies. Membership often required more than just the ability to pay dues. Candidates frequently had to prove their good moral character, industriousness, and adherence to values such as thrift, self-reliance, and discipline. Some societies, like the Woodman, were particularly proactive in their early recruitment, targeting young, healthy men from rural areas perceived as having lower mortality risks and even making physical fitness a membership requirement. Furthermore, claims for sickness benefits could be denied if the incapacity resulted from intemperance or immoral conduct or a pre-existing condition undisclosed at admission. This emphasis on character and health served as a crucial, albeit informal, underwriting process. Peer monitoring within the close-knit lodge structure provided another layer of protection against fraud and abuse. Lodge visiting committees were commonly tasked with checking on members who claimed sickness benefits. These committees not only verified the legitimacy of the illness, but also ensured that the recipient adhered to lodge rules, which might include prohibitions against drinking or gambling while receiving aid, or restrictions on being outdoors except during daylight hours. Such practices helped to alleviate the persistent insurance challenges of adverse selection, attracting a disproportionate number of high-risk individuals, and moral hazard members behaving more recklessly once insured. These methods, rooted in community ties and shared values, represented a private alternative to state protection that functioned effectively for many years. The benefits offered by these societies were substantial for the era. Death benefits, often ranging from $1,000 to $2,000, could be a lifeline for a bereaved family, frequently sufficient to pay off a mortgage on a home or farm, or provide support for a period. Beyond death benefits, many fraternals provided weekly sick benefits, typically $5 to $10 per week, which could replace a significant portion of lost wages for a worker incapacitated by illness or accident. Access to the services of a lodge physician, either a member or a contracted doctor, was another common provision, effectively operating as an early form of health maintenance organization. Some of the larger and more established orders extended their benevolence even further, founding and maintaining orphanages, homes for the elderly, and hospitals for their members and their families. A key distinction from commercial enterprises was that, as non-profit mutual aid organizations, any surplus funds were often reinvested into these community programs and services, rather than distributed as profit. The diverse landscape of fraternal benefit societies illustrates the adaptability of this model. Table 2, Profile of Key Fraternal Benefit Societies. Pipe Society Name Pipe Founding Era Pipe Target Membership Pipe Key Occulted/Ritualistic Elements Pipe Primary Insurance Offered Pipe Unique Operational Marketing Feature Pipe 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 Ancient Order of United Workmen, AO, Pipe 1868 Pipe General Mail Pipe Masonic Style Structure, Basic Rituals Pipe Life, Death Benefit, Pipe Pioneer of Assessment-Based Fraternal Life Insurance Pipe Modern Woodman of America Pipe 1883 Pipe Primarily Rural, Healthy Males Pipe Elaborate Pageantry, Macabre Elements, Riding the Goat, Pranks Pipe Life, Sickness Pipe Aggressive Recruitment, Glamorized Insurance, Health Screening Pipe Woodman of the World Pipe 1890 Pipe Similar to Modern Woodman Pipe Distinctive Tree Stump Tombstones, Axe Twirling Pageantry Pipe Life Pipe Iconic Branding Through Tombstones, Strong Visual Identity Pipe Independent Order of St. Luke Pipe Post-Civil War Pipe African American Men and Women Pipe Symbolic Journey to Jerusalem, Biblical Lessons, Emphasis on Family Pipe Sickness, Burial Pipe Served Marginalized Community, Emphasized Self-Reliance and Christian Values, Operated a Bank Pipe Ladies of the Maccabees Pipe Late 19th Pipe White Women Pipe Old Testament Maccabees Inspiration, Patriotic Themes Pipe Health Surgical, Life Pipe All-Female, Focused on Home Protection, Thrift, and Female Self-Reliance Pipe. The intricate connection between the ritualistic engagement offered by these societies and their financial viability cannot be overstated. The cloud of being an insider and the continuous pursuit of mystical, esoteric knowledge were powerful motivators that ensured members would diligently make their insurance payments, often for many decades. The camaraderie and entertainment provided by Lodge Life kept members returning, guaranteeing a consistent stream of assessments or dues vital for the assessment-based financial model. Furthermore, the moral lessons and character requirements woven into the rituals aimed to cultivate a membership base that was, in essence, a lower insurance risk. Thus, the secret society elements were not superficial adornments but fundamental components of the economic engine driving fraternal insurance. The more engaging, meaningful, and exclusive the fraternal experience, the more stable and reliable the insurance fund tended to be. In this way, fraternal orders became early innovators in risk management, effectively leveraging the social capital generated by their close-knit lodge communities and shared values. While their exclusivity could be seen as a drawback from a modern inclusivity perspective, it paradoxically facilitated these effective, low-cost risk management techniques, enabling them to offer affordable insurance to millions. The occulted question re-examined, ritual esotericism versus alleged occult control. When exploring the occulted dimensions of life insurance history, it is crucial to maintain a clear distinction between the documented esoteric practices within fraternal benefit societies and unsubstantiated claims of broader occult control over the commercial insurance industry. The occulted aspects relevant to this analysis are the secret rituals, symbolic language, carefully guarded passwords, and progressive systems of esoteric teachings that were characteristic of these fraternal orders. These elements were intentionally designed to be mysterious and alluring to outsiders, with knowledge revealed incrementally to initiates as they advanced through the order's degrees. This created a powerful sense of possessing special knowledge and belonging to an elect group, thereby enhancing the perceived value of membership. The mysteries central to fraternal life were generally rooted in moral allegories, symbolic interpretations of tools and emblems, and the legendary histories of the orders themselves, rather than occult practices and the popular sense of sorcery, divination, or supernatural manipulation for business purposes. Rituals frequently employed religious or quasi-religious narratives, often drawing from biblical stories, as seen with the Independent Order of St. Luke, or ancient historical accounts, to convey their ethical and philosophical teachings. The mystical, esoteric knowledge promised to members typically pertained to these moral philosophies and the deeper meanings ascribed to the society's symbols and ceremonies. The user's request for a deep dive into the more occulted ones is most accurately addressed by examining the profound functionality of these hidden, symbolic, and esoteric fraternal practices in the context of life insurance. The available historical evidence strongly indicates that these practices were instrumental in member recruitment, ensuring long-term retention, instilling moral values that indirectly supported risk management, for example, sobriety, responsibility, and creating a unique brand identity in a nascent market. The secrecy and ritualism were not ends in themselves but highly practical tools for building and sustaining these mutual insurance enterprises. It is important to note that the extensive research material provided, while rich in detail about fraternal orders, does not offer evidence to suggest that early commercial life insurance companies, as distinct from fraternal benefit societies, were broadly controlled by occult organizations, or that their day-to-day business operations were driven by esoteric rituals in the same manner as the fraternals. While one co-founder of the Theosophical Society, Henry Steele Olcott, had a background that included work related to insurance generally, this does not indicate that Theosophy as a movement dictated the operational policies of insurance companies. Similarly, the connection of anthroposophic medicine to a health insurance program represents a specific, limited instance rather than a widespread industry pattern. Discussions of symbolism in modern corporate logos, including those of insurance companies, pertain to contemporary branding psychology and visual communication, not to historical operational occultism. Literature on conspiracy theories involving secret societies and elite control generally lacks specific, substantiated evidence regarding the life insurance industry during its formative period. The pervasive influence of Freemasonry on the fraternal benefit movement is undeniable, but this influence was primarily structural and inspirational. Freemasonry's established system of local lodges, progressive degrees, ritualistic practices, and rich symbolism provided a readily adaptable framework that new fraternal orders, many of which were focused on providing insurance benefits, could emulate and modify. This represents a pattern of organizational mimicry and adaptation for a new social and financial purpose, rather than evidence of a unified, clandestine occult agenda controlling the diverse and often competing entities within the burgeoning insurance sector. The occulted elements within fraternalism, therefore, are best understood as sophisticated tools for social engineering and business development within the specific context of 19th century America. The elaborate rituals, the carefully guarded secrets, and the promise of esoteric knowledge served highly practical ends. They instilled desired moral values, fostered unwavering loyalty, attracted a steady stream of new members and their premium payments, and powerfully reinforced the central message of the need for mutual protection through insurance. While these practices drew upon ancient traditions and mystical themes, their application was overwhelmingly pragmatic, directed squarely at ensuring the social cohesion and financial success of the mutual benefit society. The mystery and secrecy that enveloped these orders were, in a sense, highly rational in their apparent irrationality. They were demonstrably effective means to achieve tangible social and financial objectives. The transition from a landscape dominated by fraternal insurers to one where commercial insurers held sway was driven by concrete economic, social, and regulatory changes, such as the imposition of new solvency laws and the rise of group insurance and Social Security, not by an occult takeover or a widespread infusion of esoteric practices into commercial entities. Thus, an exploration of the occulted ones in relation to life insurance finds its most fertile and factually supported ground in the documented, elaborate, and functionally vital ritualism of the fraternal benefit societies, which were, by their very nature, secret societies engaged in the provision of life insurance. 6. The waning of the lodges, the dawn of modern insurance, transition, regulation, and legacy. The period from roughly 1890 to the 1920s or early 1930s marked the golden age of fraternalism in America. During these decades, fraternal orders reached their zenith in terms of membership and societal influence, with some estimates suggesting that as many as one-third of adult American males belonged to at least one lodge. These organizations were a dominant force in the provision of life, sickness, and accident insurance for a significant portion of the population, offering a vital safety net in an era of limited government welfare. However, a confluence of factors began to erode the foundations of the fraternal insurance system, leading to its gradual decline. Perhaps the most significant catalyst was the advent of state regulation. In the early 1900s, state governments started to impose solvency regulations on fraternal insurers, often requiring them to maintain legal reserves similar to those mandated for commercial insurance companies. This presented a profound challenge to the traditional assessment-based model upon which most fraternals operated. As one economic analysis notes, the spectacular rise of fraternal insurance was followed by an equally spectacular reversal of fortune that coincided with the extension of regulation to fraternal insurance. By the 1920s, the market share of fraternal insurers had dropped significantly, as many struggled to comply with the new financial requirements or found their cost advantage diminished. The Great Depression delivered another severe blow. Widespread unemployment and economic hardship meant that many members were simply unable to continue making their premium payments, leading to a sharp decline in membership rolls and further destabilizing the finances of societies reliant on ongoing assessments. Simultaneously, the rise of commercial group insurance offered by employers and the establishment of government social programs, most notably the Social Security Act of 1935, began to fill the void for financial protection that fraternal aid societies had once predominantly occupied. The changing social landscape also played a role. The camaraderie and entertainment offered by lodge life, once a central pillar of community for many, faced increasing competition from new forms of leisure, such as radio, movies, and eventually television. The unique blend of social activity, moral instruction, and financial benefit that defines the fraternal experience began to lose some of its singular appeal. Internally, some orders suffered from financial mismanagement, operating on actuarially unsound pass-the-hat principles that left them vulnerable to collapse during epidemics or other periods of high claims. Despite these pressures, many fraternal orders demonstrated resilience and adaptability. Some of the larger and financially stronger societies managed to transform themselves. They reorganized their financial structures, often adopting the legal reserve system mandated by regulators, and continued to operate as insurance providers, and many still do so today. For example, Woodmen of the World, now Woodmen Life, Royal Arcanum, Independent Order of Foresters. However, this transformation often came at the cost of their traditional lodge structures and the elaborate ritualistic practices that had once defined them. Many effectively shed the fraternal antics to become more conventional insurance companies. Others, like the Aid Association for Lutherans, now part of Thrivent Financial, evolved into major insurance providers with a continued focus on their affinity group, but without the secret rituals and initiation ceremonies of their early counterparts. The legacy of fraternal insurance, however, is significant and enduring. These societies played a crucial role in democratizing access to financial protection, introducing the concept of life insurance and the discipline of regular payments for future security to millions of working-class and middle-class American families who had previously been excluded. They effectively educated a vast segment of the public about the principles of insurance. Moreover, many modern fraternal insurers retain their nonprofit status and a commitment to community benefit, reinvesting a portion of their earnings into scholarships, charitable activities, and support programs for their members. The story of fraternal insurance highlights a historical tension between grassroots, community-based financial solutions and the drive towards standardization and consumer protection through regulation. While regulation aimed to ensure the stability and reliability of insurance providers, its uniform application inadvertently undermined a viable system that had thrived for decades, partly due to its exemption from such rules. The private alternatives to state protection, rooted in social bonds, character assessment, and peer monitoring, proved less compatible with the formalized legal and actuarial requirements of the modern insurance era. Furthermore, the decline of the traditional fraternal model can be seen as part of a broader secularization of both insurance and entertainment. Fraternal orders had offered an integrated package, financial security interwoven with social life, moral guidance, and amusement. The rise of government social security and the expansion of commercial insurance unbundled the financial protection aspect from this holistic social experience. Simultaneously, the commercialization of entertainment through mass media provided alternative, more readily accessible leisure options. This unbundling diminished the unique, multifaceted appeal that had once drawn so many into the lodge room. Insurance increasingly became a purely financial transaction, and entertainment a separately consumed commercial product. 7. Conclusion: the enduring resonance of fraternal secrets in the story of life insurance. The historical record reveals a profound and symbiotic relationship between the rise of American life insurance and the flourishing of fraternal secret societies. Far from being mere peripheral curiosities, these orders, with their intricate tapestry of secrecy, ritual, and symbolism, were central to the popularization and provision of financial protection for ordinary Americans during the critical formative decades of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The occulted elements, the guarded knowledge, the esoteric teachings revealed in stages, and the dramatic, often theatrical initiations, were not simply for show. They served as powerful, functional tools that were instrumental in member recruitment, fostering long-term loyalty and retention, instilling moral values that indirectly supported prudent risk management, and creating distinctive brands in a nascent and often misunderstood market. Every facet of these societies' hidden practices, from solemn oaths and symbolic journeys to macabre reminders of mortality and even boisterous, prank-filled initiations, was ultimately tethered to its impact on the core insurance function. These elements worked in concert to attract premium-paying members, encourage their responsible conduct, and continuously reinforce the tangible value of the death benefit and other forms of mutual aid. The strong bonds of brotherhood and mutual obligation, forged and tempered in the crucible of shared secret experiences, formed the very bedrock of the assessment-based insurance model that allowed these societies to thrive for generations. It is essential to distinguish this historical reality, the operational significance of occulted, meaning hidden, esoteric, and symbolic practices within fraternal benefit societies, from unsubstantiated theories alleging broader occult control over the commercial insurance industry. This report has maintained a laser focus on the documented, historical interplay within these fraternal organizations, demonstrating how their secret society nature was inextricably linked to their success as providers of life insurance. The evidence does not support an extension of this model to suggest that early commercial life insurance entities were similarly governed by, or operated through, such esoteric frameworks. The legacy of fraternal insurance is multifaceted. These societies democratized access to a crucial form of financial security, educating a vast public about the principles of insurance and the wisdom of preparing for life's uncertainties. They pioneered forms of community-based risk management and left an imprint of member-focused, non-profit service that continues to echo in the operations of some modern fraternal insurers. The story of how secret societies sold life insurance is a testament to human ingenuity in the face of vulnerability. It reveals a fascinating epoch where social bonds, ritualistic engagement, and financial security were not separate spheres, but deeply intertwined components of a system designed to manage risk and provide care. The shadows of these once powerful organizations and their occulted practices illuminate not a sinister conspiracy, but a complex, often colorful, and remarkably effective human response to the universal anxieties of life and death, a response that fundamentally shaped the path toward modern financial security for millions.